Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you how I made this fun little Construction Zone birthday card using the Construction Zone stamp set that you can find in my online store. So let me set this aside and I can show you how I got started. Okay, I'm going to start with the stamping for this, and I'm going to start with the sentiment. I'm going to ink this up in the Poppy Parade, and I am going to stamp this at the top of my square. Being careful not to rock. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in this fun little sign, and I want the arrow to go to the right, so I'm going to ink that up with the mementos and stamp. I finished that panel, so I'm going to bring in another square, bring in my little construction dude and stamp him in the center. And then I'm going to bring in my concrete mixer and stamp that. And I'm not stamping it all the way on, I'm just doing part of the truck. And I'm going to do that same thing with the forklift, adding it onto the card stock here. And these are big solid images, so you can look and make sure that you've got enough ink before you stamp. I forgot to do that, and I do have a little bit of speckling there, so if that bothers you, you'll want to make sure. I've got my little package here, and I'm going to put that right onto the forklift like so. And I have my stamping done, but I am going to bring in my card base here. Let's see, I'm going to move that to the side, and I'm going to take my little emergency cone and stamp it on the inside right in the lower right hand corner. I'm finished stamping and I'm ready to start coloring. I've got my Stampin Blends here, and I am going to start, let's see, I think with the inside of my card, simply because that's quick and easy, and then it's finished and we can move on to these cute little squares. I've got the cone done with my dark daffodil, and I'm going to bring in my concrete mixer here, and I am going to color that in with the daffodil while I have it out. And of course, if you use a light touch, you can use the flare tip end of this. I'm going to simply do the outline, and then I'll bring in the flare to finish it up. Hubcaps, and my little guy's little hat and vest. And last but not least, this little sign here. Just going to go around the caution sign. There we go. So I'm going to finish off the big part of the truck here with my flare end. And I'm finished with my daffodil. Next, I'm going to bring in my gray granite, and I'm going to do the wheels and the bumper on the concrete mixer. And while I have this out, I'm going to do the wheels here. And I'm going to bring in the light and do my little guy's pants. Next, I'm going to bring in the dark Poppy Parade and do his shirt. And I'm going to do my little loader here. And the bow on the package. I'm going to bring the light and do the package itself. And of course, I could do the ribbon also here quickly, just to add a little pop of color there. I just need to do the flesh tone, and I'm going to bring in my 800 here and just do his little face and hands. And I've got all my coloring done, and I'm ready to start assembly. To start assembling, I'm going to fold my card base in half. That little cone, of course, goes on the inside, so that you want to pay attention. And then I'm going to take my designer series paper, and I am going to place that right on the outside edge. This is a great stack of paper with all the designs. It coordinates with all kinds of things in our catalog. And place that right down on the edge, lining it up carefully. Oops, since I used the multi-purpose, it slid. One of the advantages, but you do need to be careful. Next, I'm going to add my strip here down the edge, and I'm going to simply run a little bit of adhesive here on the card front and on the top edge. And what that does is catch the top edge and goes all the way down so that when I flip it over, I can trim off the excess, and I've got this really balanced piece on my card front. Now, I did color the cone with my blends, so there is a little bit of bleed through. If that bothers you, you might not want to place that directly on the mat. Next, I'm going to bring in my square here, and I'm going to adhere that down. And then I've got my crushed curry here, and I'm going to start adding my little pieces to it. Now, I like to place the two corners so that I know the spacing. Once I have these two corners in, the other two will fall in evenly. So I like to lay those like so, and then you can add the other two pieces or whatever your preference is. When you add this top corner, you can line it up with the edges and the margins on both those pieces, and that way you have a wonderful visual guideline. I'm going to put my bottom corner in here and then add my other two. The multi-purpose allows you a little bit of wiggle room there when you're doing things. I'm going to bring my dimensionals in and add one to each corner and in the center. And then I'm going to adhere it to my card front. There you go, a bright, cheerful birthday card made with the Construction Zone stamp set. And of course, if you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop on my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.